Hello everyone. So I am back today to talk about empathy and energy exchange during massage. So this video will be particularly beneficial for anyone who is undertaking massage training and looking to work as a massage therapist. During any massage, there's going to be an exchange of energy between the therapist and the client. And this, can really determine how the whole experience goes. It's not just a case of, how much skill or knowledge the therapist has or what techniques they use. It's also the experience that the client has is also going to be influenced by the intent of the massage, as set by the therapist. So this is really where, empathy becomes a really important quality in the massage therapist, because, how the therapist is able to kind of understand the client's situation and therefore set the intent of the massage can really change the whole experience for the client. So, and an example of this from my own experience, I've mentioned in my videos about massage for domestic abuse and PTSD that I actually had some massage therapy by a colleague, which helped me to overcome one of my biggest PTSD triggers. Now, I actually had two therapists. The first one that I had, the massage was okay, but I didn't get the, sort of as a client, I didn't get that impression that they really completely understood how the PTSD and how the triggers that we were kind of working on had really affected me. And I think that came through in how effective the massage was. But the colleague who actually then, gave me a few more treatments and really helped me overcome that trigger, was very, very empathetic. He just naturally had a lot of understanding of people, really picked up on non-verbal cues from the client, and that certainly in the first massage that I had with this therapist, he could pick up on when I was starting to get uncomfortable, and really, used communication very effectively to, to kind of ensure that the treatment sort of progressed and did what it needed, to do. Now, obviously, I've been a nurse and a midwife, so for me, I guess I'm no stranger to, taking an empathetic approach in my work, and, sort of experiencing that emotional resonance, with my patients. But when you understand a client's emotions to the point of kind of almost feeling them yourself, as if they were your own, you can then, as a therapist, just intuitively understand what that person needs. And this is really important, for example, if you're giving a massage for someone who's going through the grieving process, and I've done another video on massage for grief, being able to understand the emotions that they're going through will really help you focus, the intention of that massage treatment. And when when this sort of exchange of emotions with the client is present, and you have that sense of compassion, then the client will experience the massage very differently to if you just go in there thinking just another massage and just get on with it. Even if from the outside it looks like you're doing the same treatment and the same techniques, if that intent is there, the experience for the client will be different. If the therapist is in tune with the client, they will just instinctively find those areas of tension, and they will recognize, signals from the body that may be really subtle. And then be able to work on them, and this in turn will obviously lead to a much more healing experience for the client. Now, say for example, say the therapist has gone or is in the process of going through a really horrible divorce, lots of feelings of anger there, their energy is not going to be particularly healing for the client. And so just as we pick up, on a negative atmosphere in a room, the client will also pick up on the therapist's energy, even if it's not on a conscious level. And this obviously will, affect how they experience that treatment. So, and also just the nature of massage, it's there's just a very sort of close nature to this type of therapy. So, energy exchange between therapist and client is going to be a lot more likely. So, yeah, the client, from the client's point of view, obviously they need to be a lot more, they need to be kind of open with the therapist and, and willing to have a healing experience. Because if you sort of go along for any treatment thinking, well, it's not going to work, the likelihood is you're not going to come out feeling any different. So the client needs to just be open and willing to have a healing experience. And the therapist needs to ensure that the intent of the massage is client-focused healing, is specific to that individual client and what they need at that time. Whatever their own negative emotions may be at the time, that has to be put to one side. And so in this way, the therapist can transform any negative energy from the client into positive, while ensuring that, they don't take on that negativity, from the client themselves. And, potentially therapists may find it beneficial to do some sort of meditative practice, before they do treatments, just to sort of release any negative energy, from their own personal issues. And also then afterwards to sort of get rid of any negative energy that they may have picked up from the client. So in terms of, what makes us empathetic, to a certain extent, I think empathy is something that people either have or they don't. But certainly there are certain values, that will help a therapist have that empathetic approach and improve the energy exchange between client and therapist. So the first one of these is just listening, really listening and providing constructive feedback on, what has been said to you. this can really help a client to see their problems differently. And also clients, if you just kind of nod and, you're not really kind of hearing what they're saying, the client will pick up, if you're being insincere. So yeah, listening is the first thing. Sensitivity to the emotions of the client is all, again, part of effective communication and building that trusting relationship with your client. And obviously this will kind of affect also your time management. Client confidentiality comes into it, and the way that you carry out your massage. Every individual client, requires a treatment that is tailored to them and their needs. And by giving that individual treatment, you are showing that client that you are sensitive to their needs and their emotions, and they're more likely to then open up to you further, and at the end of the day to come back for another treatment in the future. So the next quality would be obviously honesty. Honesty in terms of your explanations of why they have a particular issue, what could be causing an issue. That's an important part of any therapist. But in addition to being honest, you have to kind of be tactful in the way that you do it, and that can really make all the difference in building a trusting relationship with your client. For example, a really simple example, a client was going through the menopause but wasn't really sure. They sort of explained a few things that were going on, and so one of the questions that I asked was regarding sort of their sex life and whether they had noticed any differences there. Now obviously to a lot of people that could feel really invasive, but in explaining why I was asking that question, in order to help them sort of see if they were actually going through the menopause, and if that could be having any effect on the issues that they were having and that were being demonstrated in the massage. By explaining that, they could see that it wasn't just a case of me being nosy, but I was actually asking for a reason. So, yeah, being honest in your explanations of things. Again, it just comes down to helping the client see that you're being sincere in wanting to help them. Yeah. Again, it's sort of obviously empathy and imagination. It's having that imagination to being able to relate to a client's feelings with an open mind, without judgment on them, being able to put yourself in their position really, so that you can focus the treatment more effectively on what they need. If you're unable to put yourself in their position, then it's very difficult to understand kind of what it is that they need to get out of that treatment. And then probably the other thing is about appreciation. For us as professionals, obviously we learn just sort of from training courses and the theory, but a lot of our learning really takes place through interaction with our clients. That's how we get to understand, the mind and the body, and really kind of build our knowledge, in order to use better techniques and help our clients, further. And sometimes, it's only having that kind of sort of visible picture in your head of a particular issue, and how that, seeing for yourself how that affects them in their body or their mind, that you really, sometimes it just helps you take on a new understanding of an issue. So yeah, it's important to appreciate our clients, because it's not just a case of we're giving them something in doing the treatment, but actually, they're giving us something back, in our professional development. So as we've said, empathy is, really important in order to have a positive exchange of energy during the treatment. But obviously there will, clients are coming in with various issues, whether physical or mental, and there will be some negative energy, coming through the client during the treatment. And as therapists, we have to learn to detach ourselves from that, but in a way that, doesn't desensitize you to the client. So it's really all about finding a balance, not crossing any boundaries, and sort of just getting close enough to the client that you can sort of relate to them and understand, their position, but just not getting too close. So, and if you can demonstrate this empathy to your client, just to the point of being overly connected, and then, but not too much, and then this will enable you to withdraw from that client. If you do kind of connect too much and you kind of overstep those boundaries, not only is that detrimental to you, because you're going to come away having taken on that negative energy, and it's going to make you feel drained, really, which then will affect how you give a treatment to your next client. So yeah, it's just maintaining that balance, and if you keep that balance, then having that empathetic approach, and ensuring a positive exchange of energy, it's only going to add to, how effective you are as a healer, and adds to the experience of your clients. So yeah, just a few things there to take into consideration if you are looking to work in massage therapy. So that's all for today. As usual, you can connect with me, if not on here, then through my Facebook and Instagram pages. Yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye.